Hey, this is Paul, and thanks for checking out our video. Today I'm going to teach you how I take our beautiful dragon fruit, this hybrid here, Orahona Seedling 4, and I like to turn them into these delicious dragon fruit chips. Now these will last in the refrigerator over a year, and they've been delicious, and I think I've gotten it down to a pretty good product. So I'll share kind of some mistakes I've made and what not to do, as well as kind of how long and how thick and what I'm doing to make these delicious chips now. So first you need a dehydrator, and what I did is I bought this one. It was highly rated on Amazon, and it's been great so far. So you need a highly rated dehydrator for food, and then once you have that, I'll show you what to do next. So let's get started and make some dragon fruit chips. Okay, so what I like to do is I cut the base, and then I cut just past the cone, and I make sure my dragon fruit is clean. So I've washed these really well. I use a sharp knife, and then I just cut them just like so, very carefully, and then I peel them like this. So get them just like that, and then you could even use like a food cutter, a food slicer. I have not done that yet, because I do them pretty consistently about this thick, but sometimes there's a little bit of variation, which ends up being cool because sometimes they'll be a little bit more chewy at the end versus a little more crunchy. So that way you get a little bit different textures. So this is really exciting. This is an Orahona seedling fruit that is ripe really late in the season, and I've eaten a few of them. Let's see how this one tastes. They've been really good. So you can see they're magenta. But this thickness is what I like to use. Oh yeah, that one's really good. Berry. But the reason why I'm dehydrating this is at the end of the season, the fruit tends to not taste so sweet. And I think dehydrating them, I can enjoy them all year. It almost makes them a little sweeter because all the moisture is removed. So you can see how I do this. Keep them from touching. And again, I'd probably say that these are about 1/8 of an inch thick if I had to estimate. Too thin, they're going to stick, and you don't want to do that. So I'll fill up this whole plate. I'll repeat the process here. Any variety, it doesn't matter. I've done whites, purples, reds, pinks, and they still preserve their flavor. Sugar dragon tastes really, really sweet. It tends to be almost like sticky, like honey. It's really good. But these red flesh ones, or in this case, this is a red flesh, or a magenta hybrid with a red flesh. They just taste really great. If the fruit's really, really seedy, it tends to almost taste kind of like chia seeds, but if they're earthy, it's not so enjoyable. But if the seeds are not earthy, you can even dehydrate those really skinny, small kind of fruit that didn't develop quite so well. So you can see how I do it. I just make sure they don't touch. I'm very careful about keeping them separated on these trays. And I repeat this process here. So let me cut up the rest of these, and then I'll show you the next step. Okay, so I did a quick load up, as you can see. And again, you definitely want to keep them spaced a little better than this, otherwise they'll stick. So try not to let them touch. Don't let them touch against the wall either. And again, about 1/8 of an inch to maybe 1/4 inch, as you can see. And a food slicer would work fantastic if you want a really consistent product. But again, I like kind of having more crunchy ones versus more chewy. And I really like using this. Now, I've used different temperatures. Some people say above 130, you can break down enzymes, but what I like to do is I run it usually 137, 138, something around there, 135 to 138, I'll say. And then what I like to do is for the time, I have it go about 22 to 26 hours. So again, a little bit of variance, but traditionally my sweet spot, at least for this machine, has been 24 hours at 138. So that's kind of just what I've been doing lately. I've tried a little bit colder, a little bit hotter, up in the 140s. I think that's a little too hot. So again, this is kind of what I like, 138, 137. I'll do it 137 this time, why not? and for around 22 to around 26 hours, usually 24. And then you just hit start and you wait patiently. Now it does get really hot under here, so be careful, make sure it has adequate ventilation. And it smells a little bit kind of vegetal at first, but then it goes away. And honestly, my favorite thing to do is to eat them when they're warm, like just when they're done. They are absolutely delicious. So let's check back in about a day and see what they look like and enjoy one. Okay, so it's been 25 hours at 138 degrees. I had it go for 24 hours at 138 degrees, and I just thought it needed a little bit more time. So you can see what it looks like, how much they've changed. And when they're still warm like this is my favorite way to eat them. It's kind of like eating warm cookies. They're kind of flexible, really delicious. So now I'm gonna let them cool down a bit because they're still too warm. These ones are really flexible. And I'll show you how I vacuum seal them next. So I'll let them sit here for about an hour and cool down. I'll show you the next step. Okay, so now I like to use these vacuum seal bags, and then I carefully put these chips in after they've cooled. And what I like to do is I don't let them overlap. I mean, it's okay to let them overlap, but you want to try not to let them overlap because they'll kind of stick together once they're vacuum sealed and then placed in the refrigerator. Now, I've left them out of the refrigerator for about a week, and they were totally fine, but from what I've read online is you want to store them in the refrigerator and they'll last over a year. So again, you try to spread them out, kind of overlapping them, and then I like to kind of make a mixture here of all different colors. Looks pretty cool. So red, I don't have any pink right now, but I have red flesh or deep magenta, standard magenta, and white flesh undatus. So actually I have a couple species in here. The flavor is very concentrated. You can see once they've cooled, they're more rigid, see? They don't flex as much. I mean, they'll still bend if you really force them. They're a little chewy, but just delicious. Kind of like fruit leather. Now, if you want them really firm and like chips, I'd probably go about 30 hours, 35 hours. But this is how I like them. And then the last step is I use this vacuum sealer. The brand's Nesco. Got it on Amazon. And then I like to always make sure I do a double seal, and then carefully spread them out. Make sure you have clean hands, and then you vacuum seal them. It's all automatic. So it sucks out all the air, and then now it's gonna do a double seal. There's lots of different bags, but I like these ones where I can they have the sealer on the top. It's kind of like a Ziploc. See if you can see it. See it right there? And I put about 2 ounces of dried fruit into them. 3 ounces fit pretty well. I think more than that, it starts to get a little tight. And it's almost ready. Boom. So now it's done. And that's all it is. It's a nice double seal. It's nice vacuum sealed, and I store this in the refrigerator for the last over a year. So when you're ready, you just pop them open. You know, I repeat this process until I think I can do about 12 ounces in one sitting in one batch. And there you go. So that is how I enjoy my dragon fruit all year long. I simply dehydrate them and then vacuum seal them. So Hit me up in the questions or comments if you have any questions. I'd be happy to answer them as best as I can. I really enjoy doing this, and I enjoy having dragon fruit year-round. Thank you so much for watching. Give us a like, subscribe, have yourself a wonderful day, and hopefully you can try some of these delicious, delicious dragon fruit chips. All right, take care.